again, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Oregon Mountain Predator. Today we are on a nuisance trapping call. Let me turn this radio down. There's a friend of mine. He's got some family members that live kind of out in the county, and they have some chickens and some small dogs. They got a video of a coyote cornering their chicken and getting it in the front yard. Run off with it. So they called me and said, hey, can you please come help us? They're gonna get our dogs and our cats and stuff. Can you come help? So I came out last night, set some traps. I'm gonna go check them right now this morning, and hopefully we got this little bugger. That way these folks can get a little bit of peace of mind, and I can help someone out. So we're gonna go check it out. When I get there, I will show you guys the crime scene. Catch y'all in a little while. Well, back here behind the house, they've got some fields, and this bugger was coming up here and giving him a hard time. So I come back here and I set two different sets up, seeing if he wanted to come give us a go for our money, and it sounds like we got him. I think my client come out and already put him down because they didn't want him out here, which is no big deal at all. But we got one set right there. And it looks like we had a visitor, but barely missed him. We'll come back and check that out. Now we're gonna go down the road. And sure enough, right there, got him, baby. We will set up. Looks like we got our culprit. Nice little, almost missed him. What is it? Looked like a little female. Happy client right here. Got some folks just down the way. The house up here. We got us one, baby. Set the one trap way down there, and this is that first one I set up. And you can tell I had a miss. Just barely. That pan is right there. And those two prints are right here. I barely missed that bugger. Barely. Do some investigating. Try and see if we can't find out where this bugger's coming in and out at. They own these fields right here. And last time I caught one down that way, and that's where they were having problems seeing it. But now I guess they got one over on this end going into them pecan trees that border their field. So I'm gonna go look for some tracks and some scat, see if we can't find some sign and find a place over here where this big canal's at to try to set him up where he's coming in and out at already. Instead of just making some blind sets, I want to try to pinpoint this guy and catch him. So we're gonna come up here and see what we can find. Thanks for hanging out with Oregon Mountain Predator, guys. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Tearing it up down here in southern New Mexico. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Let me know if there's something else you guys want to see, or more specific stuff on certain things. You just let me. Okay, guys, I just talked to my client. As you can tell, these houses are right here, right behind me. Okay. And I walked around and I looked, and I found a bunch of tracks coming down this levee and coming this way. And sure enough, you can see right there, he's coming up through here and coming right up to that house, and those chickens are up there and little dogs and stuff. So I think I'm gonna make me a set right in here, and then I'm gonna go down a little ways and make me another couple sets over there, see if we can't catch this thing, because I found his trackway. He's not marking his territory as far as where I've already walked, but I'm gonna do some more looking and see if we can't find him, because these guys are real desperate wanting to get this thing out of here before it gets one of their dogs. They got some little dogs and some cats and chickens, and I think they even got some rabbits. So we're gonna try and help these folks out. I'll catch you guys up in a minute, see if I can't show you how I make one of my sets for these things, and we'll get her done. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Beautiful day out here in southern New Mexico. Beautiful day. Okay, guys, get my pack. We're gonna drop down right here along this little levee, set a couple traps, see if we can't catch this bugger. It's giving these folks a hard time. He's walking right down this fucking thing. Excuse my language. So we're gonna come right up over here and see if we can't set a trap to catch this little sucker. He's coming up in here trying to eat the chickens. Can't have him doing that. Alright, let me get you guys set up and show you what we're gonna do. Alright. So, that coyote's coming and running like this and going up that bank. So we're gonna make a set right here so he can't miss it. See if we can't get him caught. Stuff over here. Let's see what we can do. This is what I use to dig my dirt holes. I like small holes that look like a rodent dug it. I'm not digging no big holes like a fox or something like that. Just small holes. Like a rodent's trying to hide something. Most of this natural stuff we can reuse as part of the set. I'm going to use this as my backing. That way that coyote don't think it can get around and try and get down into that bait. It's got to come right here. That's at least the idea. Fresh dirt's good dirt, in my opinion, as long as it ain't muddy. This appears to be a little muddy. So I'll just do the best I can. Good for now. I'll dig some more out in a minute. Now we're going to dig our trap bed. I like breaking the walls of that hole down now. That way everything's kind of on the plane. Everybody's got their ways. You know, some people are like, you got to have the trap right up against the hole. Some people are saying, oh, you need to have it 18 inches back, or it just depends on what you're catching, or what you're trying to catch, I should say. That's how I base what I do. If I'm trying to catch a coyote, the body of a coyote is usually about a specific size. Their legs are so long, you know what I mean, and their strides so far, just like a cat's a different way, and a fox is a different way. So depending upon what you're trying to catch will dictate where and how you set your traps. That's how I approach it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this loose stuff out of here, put it right in my sifter, and I try to keep my sifter close. That way the fresh dirt's not in too many different places. Try to keep the scents and everything put together, all this good duff. I call it duff. It's just the grass and the leaves and the weeds and the sticks that are already right here. You can use it to your advantage. You just got to be not smart, you just got to pay attention to where you put stuff and how you do things. It makes a big difference. These animals rely on their nose. This is their natural everyday environment, so you've got to think like a coyote's going to smell this, or a coyote's going to see this, or a cat, if that's what you're trying to get, a bobcat or a fox. It just depends. You got to be real specific to what you're trying to do, or you can just willy-nilly it and put a trap anywhere. I know people that do that and they're still successful. So it's just about how you approach it, how you choose to approach it. There's a million ways to skin a cat, but when you do it, you get to decide. I'm just going to dig me a little trap bed, try to get it nice and centered, that way it's even. Now you're going to have dirt you don't need. And in situations like this, I'll try to throw it in the field or something behind me. That way it doesn't attract attention, but anywhere but right here. That's what we're wanting. That's what we're trying to get set up. So now I got my trap bed dug. I'm gonna dig another little depression in the bottom of my trap bed. That way I can sink my earth anchor in the ground, and I can also bury my chain underneath my trap so it don't bunch up on me. That's important, because then your trap won't set flat, and if your trap don't set flat, that's kind of a problem most of the time. So, get me one of my traps over here. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Try not to touch the trap too much. Get your scent all over it. I use wolf fang earth anchors. They work damn good, and I'm real happy with them. The little driver works good, the whole system works good. So just put it down. Check out Hoosier Trapper Supply for all your trapping needs. It's where I get all my stuff from. These guys are on point, fast shipping, great products, American company, and they are top notch, let me tell you. I'm glad to be able to work with them. Okay, now I always set my anchor. What I mean by that is I grab the chain and I pull. And that makes that little plate that I drove down in the ground flop like this. That way it's set down there. And that thing ain't going nowhere. Going nowhere. Back in the old days, if you watch WWE and stuff like that, that's where that come from. I'm not a big fan. It's just funny. Some of those guys are clowns. Anyway, we are gonna go ahead and get our trap set now. I'm gonna press my levers, push my trap jaws down, flip over my dog, catch my trap pan. Notice how I'm holding it underneath this free jaw. That way if that trap goes off, my fingers aren't in the catch zone. Okay? Now, if you can see this is called night latching. You make a little, I don't know, gouge, or you carve a little ledge on your trap right here. And when you pull it down, that dog will click. And you try to set that so that your pan is flat. That's from back in the day. The Alaska trappers used to run their stuff at night, and they could do that and hear that click, and they knew their trap was set exactly like they wanted to without having to see it. They could hear it. Old school. Put your trap down in your little hole, set your anchor. Now you're gonna need a little bit of dirt to go back in there. You know, you want to try to make this ground firm. You disturbed it, you broke it up to put your trap down in it, but it's got to be firm enough so that when that coyote steps, that trap don't wiggle, that ground's not soft. It's got to be firm. So this part takes a little bit of doing. Just take your time, no rush, especially for this. I'm trying to catch this bugger. I don't want it to give these guys a hard time or have it get another chicken or something. It's already killed one chicken that these guys had, and we're not trying to let it have any more. Get this trap bedded. It's called bedding your trap. Put it right up against the edges of it, back it down. That way if that coyote steps right on the edge of your trap, it ain't gonna tilt or wobble or nothing, and then the ground's not gonna give. It's not gonna feel weird for them. They're used to feeling solid ground. Especially here, he's traveled this way a few times, so he knows this ground shouldn't be messed up, and now he's gonna see this disturbance and can't help himself. Come check it out. We're gonna catch him. We're gonna catch him. Bed that trap in there real good. don't pack dirt above your levers. That just makes it harder for your trap to go off. I learned that one the hard way, unfortunately. Sometimes that's how you gotta learn. I know I'm stubborn. I don't like to listen to nobody tell me to do nothing. Everybody gets stuck in their ways. Okay. Pretty happy with that set. So far. Okay. Now, you get your wax paper. I just get a roll and cut it. And I about measure what I need. Yes, sir. This is my first one.
All right. Tomorrow morning, man.
Yes, sir. Okay. As you can see, I crinkle this stuff up. That way it's not so noisy. At least that's what I think. You know, everybody does their thing. So, get your stuff. Try to fold it up where those edges of the paper don't stick up the wrong way, okay? And then you stick it over your trap, try to cover your trap pan, because your trap pan has to get pushed down in order for the trap to go off, and if you put dirt underneath it, it ain't gonna depress, it won't go down, so the trap will go off. So you carefully put in your pan cover here. Okay, now sift. I don't want no sticks or no junk in here. You want to sift some good dirt in here. These big chunks you kind of don't want around because they're not going to help. If there's a rock in there, it'll stop the trap from closing all the way, and we don't want that. That's why we sift through this sifter. Just keep doing my thing. Balance. I try not to move and put my stuff down too much because you never know. You don't want this to smell like a human. You want it to smell natural. I'm using the back of my hand and going back and forth real lightly. That way if the trap goes off, I can close my hand. Or it's not safe. You should use a, what do they have? Those little brooms or something, a stick. But this is just the way I do it. Okay. I'm going to try to find my pan is right there. Okay, so now the trap is set, everything's in place. I'm going to go back in here and clean out the bottom of my hole. I have found from experience that I like the hole to be as deep as possible because it's harder for the animal to see or whatever's in there, and the more they have to investigate, the more chance they have of moving and stepping on your trap to get in. So I really like a deeper hole. Some guys use drills and all that, but I don't like lugging all that extra crap around. Okay. This back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make some more blocking that's already naturally here. I'm just going to use it to my advantage and make it seem like he can't get back here, but he can come right here to see what's going on. Okay. This was already here, so I'm going to use it. It's old and dry. It'll hold liquid lure real good. I'm going to put it right at the top of that hole, and then I can spray urine or put some lure on that, and it'll stink real good and smell for a while. That's what we want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put on some rubber gloves, because this bait stuff stinks, and if you get it on your hands, it can go with you for a little while, stick with you. I don't want that on my hands all day. I use Top Dog Predator bait from Hoosier Trapper Supply. This stuff works wonders for a bunch of different animals. It's not just coyote bait. I've caught bobcats, I've caught foxes, I've caught badgers. Of course, I've caught coyotes. Put a good helping of bait down in that hole. A little smear on top on that thing that we are going to use as a lure holder up here. That way it kind of wafts around. I'm not shy with my bait. I want to catch this thing. So I'll put some down in the hole, and then I'll smear some right at the edge of the hole. Usually keeps them entertained or checking it out, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now today I'm going to be using some Mark June's Fox Frenzy. Foxes are notorious for pissing everything else off. Den raiders, they like to eat other animals' babies, and easy meals. They'll go into a hole and try to get them something that is going to be a free meal, they think. So put, 4 or 5 drops, or maybe an ounce. It's up to you. The more you put out, the more it costs you because you pay for it, but it's also something to keep in mind is if you don't put out enough, then you're kind of wasting your time. At least that's how I see it. So, add a couple drips, try to flick them back down in the hole. Get them off. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to put out is some Hoosier Trapper Supply long distance predator lure. This stuff stinks like a skunk bad. So I just put out a little bit, try to lure them over to right here. Maybe put a drop or 2 on this little dry thing that we got holding the bait out. Come on, drop. There it is, maybe 2. Cold this morning, so this stuff is thick. Okay, close that. This is a bottle of bobcat urine. Spray it liberally. You can smell that cat urine. That's why I like cat urine, because it stinks real bad. Anything will smell that. Anything. Okay. Now we're about done. Put all my stuff away. Feather out the ground right here, make it look uniformly disturbed. That way when this animal comes by, they're like, hey, what the heck's going on here? I was here yesterday and there wasn't nothing like this. Have a couple of these sticks that are already laying pretty close. Try to get it to where they feel like they gotta step over. That way he don't step right there. try to block them a little bit. You can do too much as well, so just try to keep it minimal. Okay, that's about it. Come over here, grab y'all. This is what the set looks like. Well, there, now you can see. So there's just a little bait hole trap set right there where the tip of my finger and my shadow's at. That's the trap pan. So we're gonna try to see if he don't come through and we'll catch him. So I'm gonna go set out a couple more traps to see how it goes, and tomorrow we'll hopefully have some luck. Catch you guys in a little while. Had to switch it up. My GoPro died. It is Thursday, November 30th at 7:15 in the morning. I'm coming to check my traps at my Nuisance call. My GoPro's giving me a hard time, so we're switching over to the cell phone. But it looks like we had some success this morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over so that I can show you guys what we got. Okay, we're out here trying to check this stuff for my client who's had some issues, and it looks like we got us a little bugger this morning. Wanting to get out, of course, but we got one. My client's gonna be real happy. You can see right there in the background, those houses are where he's been getting chickens and stuff from, so we're gonna get this bugger dealt with this morning. Success. Thanks for hanging out with us along this Nuisance call. Go ahead and check us out on Facebook and on Instagram. Of course, hit that notification button on YouTube to stay up to date with everything we got going on down here in southern New Mexico.